This is Jack with Quantified Performance, here with Ash. We're here to talk about some guns.
Alright, so Jack's here, showed up with his rifle again. So you got your rifle there. Tell me about your rifle.
So this is my general purpose rifle. I've got it set up to kind of serve that mid-range performance area optimally. Really built for about 15 to 600 yards is the optimal performance area for this based on the ammo that I'm using. So this right now is zeroed with Mark II 62. It's got a 100-yard zero on it. It's got a mill-based reticle, so it's a BRTI. If you go in and you're looking through it, you're going to see some deviation on there. It's all mill-based, and then you got about 15 miles an hour wind built into that on the outside laterals. Up front on this, I've got a D-ball for nighttime use. On the left side, I've got my my mod light with a reptilian mount, which mounts it really nice here with my PEC. So it keeps all my illumination coming off one side. So if you're working a barricade, it's all really uniform on one position, and you know that light clearance on the front end. I am running a brake on this because I want to be able to shoot this fast, a lot of control, especially if I'm self-spotting, since I'm kind of limited in that 6-power optic. I've got a good field of view, but I don't see a whole lot, so I want to stay on as well as possible. I've got a little forward-mounted pick rail here, so if you want to throw in a bipod or anything like that, you've got easy access. It's really what that serves as. You can also do a little bit of stop with it on barricade stuff. And then coming back, I've got this index point, that Knight's index point, which is good for positioning your hand. So when you're working on your light switches up front, the front one is your light, rear one is going to be your laser if you pick this gun up. For the back, I've got offset sights, so in the event that this is covered in my own blood for whatever reason, I've got a short sight radius. It's made to shoot fast, so that front sight is going to be really clear when I drop into that back side on it. The charging handle is ambidextrous. It's positioned just enough that I can still get clearance on here with my other hand if I need to run that charging handle shooting as a lefty. It's got a nice 2-stage trigger in it. It's got a pretty nice clean initial press on that first stage. Brakes at about 4 or 5 pounds on the second stage. Be a little careful of that if you're trying to run that really quick. You want to make sure that you're not getting that false positive on that first setup. I do have a cut down ambidextrous selector on this, and this is one of the old prototype actually 60-degree selectors. So if you come in, hit it, and you run it, you found that it's not going to 90, it's okay, it's supposed to do that. Other than that, for the sling, I like it mounted on the outside of the stock, so when I'm slung up on it, it's coming over my shoulder and around, keeping most of my stuff clear. Right now it's set up as if I was running this kind of more of a carry sling, so it can be stood behind my back, keeps everything really nice and tight, so I get the most amount of tension when I bring this down. So if I'm negotiating through brush, going over ladders, working walls, just generally moving around through an area and I don't want it bouncing around, helps with that. If I'm kind of going to a more of a carriage position, recommend bouncing this back to that forward close QD point. This is a ambidextrous lower receiver. It's a Knight's SR15, so that's pretty standard for our stuff. So right side is going to be a bolt release, and then on the left side, I've gone with one of the Badger bolt catches. I like the paddle, I like the shape of it. It's big enough without being snaggy. I just kind of like the lines on it. It's really clean, a little bit better upgrade over a standard bolt catch. Standard Maya grip on it. It's just kind of one of the go-to easy button things. There's change it out for other things you want on there, but this configuration works really well for me. I really don't like any bumps on the front end for my hand. If I happen to be pushing my hand in a different position depending on where I am, I don't want anything stopping me from that. So that's my rifle, that's the purpose.
Awesome. So you mentioned a couple things in there that's important. One of the drills, this comes from Kyle DeFore from DeFore Performance. Just tell me about your rifle. Jack started off with basically what I needed to know if I had to pick up that rifle and start using it. So he started talking about what the zero was on it, what kind of ammo was on it, all this sort of stuff, and then we worked down into the smaller things. And what Jack brought up with the safety is important. If you're running a 45 or 60 degree safety, if somebody picks that thing up and they're used to a 90, they start jamming on it because they think that it's broken.
Yeah. So
that's an important thing to mention, if somebody has to do it. Now you mentioned general purpose. My general purpose is set up a little bit different. For me, general purpose, thinking about where I am, thinking about what I like to do, I went with a 11.5. This is the pistol configuration. The Knight's Armament 11.5. It is zeroed at 100 with 69 grain. With the shorter barrel, I wanted to get a little bit more velocity out of it, so I went with 69 grain. 55 grain works really well on it. 55 grain has been dropping people for a long time. Recently cleaned, should run most of the time. Maybe, maybe not. But it's lubricated, it's ready to go. Have offset sights as well. These are the Magpul variants. Nothing wrong with the Knights Armament ones. The Magpul ones, I don't necessarily need all the adjustments that you have on a Knights with the 600 meter on it. So I like the Magpul ones. They're nice and slim. Throw 0 on them, and they're good to go. Basically, and this one is not an ambi lower. This one's a 371 commemorative, and if you haven't watched The Outpost, you can learn a little bit more about what we did in Afghanistan. So it's not ambi, but it does have the ambi safety on it. It is a 45 degree offset, or a 45 degree on that, and it does have the ambi on a magazine release. So that's just kind of a little bit on that one. Nothing really special about it. Gearhead works. Pistol brace on it is nice and adjustable. This thing gets pretty tiny. The lights that's on it is a stream light. I'm running pistol lights on them because with a lot of rifle lights, until we started getting into these newer, more up-to-date heads, didn't have a lot of throw on the light. So that's kind of, I need to have 25, 30 meters on it if we're doing Army type, CQB type operations. So I just wanted that little bit of throw on it, and a lot of people don't like pistol lights on rifles, but since this one's a pistol, it kind of fits.
Got it.
So, other than that, it does have the brake on. I noticed you're running an NT4 MAMs on that one.
I am.
So then that got NT4 on this one too. NT4 is solid. Suppressor been running a really long time.
Oh yeah.
And still running strong today. So we just wanted to do a little short video. We actually went into this about 43 minutes, I think, what it totaled with both videos.
I think you still missed a bunch of stuff.
And we still missed a bunch of stuff on it. So on a Patreon, if you're on the Quantified Performance Patreon, you can go see a much deeper dive in there. Like I say, 45 minutes of stuff. Didn't really talk about magazines, didn't really talk about a lot of stuff. But if you go check it out, if you get on the Patreon, you can see those videos. Or if you join the members group, we put them toward the members group, can see them too. So I'm Ash.
I'm Jack.
And we're Quantified Performance.